Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to the pre-show. On today's show, episode 169, we're going to take a look at this week's project.
We're going to be looking at circuits, pattern rolling pans.
We got a little bit of update for our layer by layer. We'll do some shop talk.
All that and more on 3D Hangouts.
You said it. Where's the intro button? Intro! Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another 3D Hangouts. I am Noel Ruiz, a designer here at Adafruit. Joining me every week is Mr. Pedro.
What's going on everybody? I'm Pedro Ruiz, creative tech here at Adafruit, and every week we come to share 3D printed projects featuring electronics from Adafruit.
This is the show where we combine 3D printing and DIY electronics to make inspirational projects for the folks watching. Thank you so much for watching us. Again, this is episode 169. We used to do this show every Wednesday at 11 a.m. You're watching 3D Hangouts. This is the show. We just said that. Let's start off with...
Today's coupon code is HEATVISION. I'll save you 10% off in the Adafruit shop.
That's right.
Works on everything except subscriptions and gift certificates.
That's right. But everything else works. Awesome. We have some updates for you guys. There is some new freebies. The fall freebies are kind of... The winter stuff is over, so now we have the new Q1 2018 freebies. If you go to adafruit.com/free, you can see all the deals that we got going on. Let's take a look at the website. There's the photo we stole from the website. For $100 or more, you can get a free Perma Proto.
$200 or more is going to get you free shipping.
$299.
Yeah,
$299, because that extra dollar is very important. You get a circuit playground, the free UPS ground, and a Perma Proto. That's a hard word to say sometimes, especially in the morning. We still have same-day delivery in New York City. Check out the website for the zip codes, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We have newsletters, adafruitdaily.com. You need to subscribe to that one if you're interested in it. It doesn't automatically subscribe, so you have to do the work. Sorry about that.
I like how every time we talk about it, this is the exact time when it's released, so check your
kidding.
emails if you are subscribed.
I'm subscribed to a few of them. if not all of them. We have different categories, so pick the ones you want if you're into that. It's every day. Newsletter, the new newsletter. This one's about products, so if you just want to know about the products, this is once a week, and you have to subscribe to that one, adafruit.com/free. We are hanging out in the Discord chat room. We're going to take a look at the Discord chat room and see what awesome projects people are working on in the Show and Tell channel. If you'd like to join the lovely community of over 3,000 people, I think, you can check out discord.gg/Adafruit. We've been doing this for, I don't know, a couple months now, and it's a really great way to keep the community outside of sort of this chat room here, because this is the YouTube chat, and you know, it doesn't live forever, but the Discord stuff hopefully will. Okay, let's take a look at this week's project. We're gonna take a look at the learning guide. It's up on the learning system. If you go to learn.adafruit.com, you'll find all the new guides. It's on the sidebar. This week, we have a thermal camera with a display. This is awesome. We got this display a couple of weeks, if not a month or two ago, maybe a couple months ago. And we put together a little enclosure for the demo project that Dean Miller put together, who works at Adafruit, and he also designed the hardware for the AMG 8833 sensor, which is an IR thermal camera sensor. This thing's pretty cool. So check it out if you haven't already. The homepage just kind of runs you through the project, what a thermal camera is, and kind of what you would use it for. Talk a little bit about the enclosure design, talk a little bit about the sensor. Everything you need to get it is listed in the components list here, so you can check those out. We've got a couple things that are out of stock, but hopefully we get those in stock. Some of the main components are in stock, like the TFT Featherwing and the Huzzah 32. The Huzzah 32 kind of has a new product page. We kind of have them in different flavors, so you can get it with headers, without headers, loose headers, or stacking headers. So they're all here, and they're all out of stock. Gosh, that's awesome. Thank you. So that's the ESP32. Yeah, there's also some hardware links to some screws and these awesome stickers from Pyramoni. I don't know if I'm saying that right, probably not, but I say Pyramoni. And you can get those stickers because they're really awesome stickers. I want to stock these stickers, they're so nice. Without them, the product just wouldn't be as cool. Wires and tools and all that sort of stuff, even some small stuff like heat shrink tubing and mounting tack, which is a great sort of thing to have for your projects. Yeah. Anyway, let's take a look at the software real quick. Again, this is written by Dean, who works at Adafruit. And Dean put together the firmware for talking to the thermal camera sensor through I2C and other things. So you can check out the learning guide for the sensor. This is really where, well, that's the GitHub page, but this is really where you want to install the Arduino libraries and install I think there's a Scilabs driver for getting the ESP32 up and running with your Arduino IDE. So if you haven't done that yet, this guide will walk you through it. And there are some different sketches along with the library. We also have some demo code for running on a Raspberry Pi, so you can check that out. And then we have some different ones. But if you're not using ESP32 Feather, we do support other microcontrollers like the M0s, although they're not as fast as sampling like the ESP32 is. The circuit diagram is pretty straightforward. We put that together for you. All of these parts are available to download for free if you want to make your own fritzing library, or you can use our fritzing library to make your own fritzing wiring diagrams like this. It's got a nice little drag and drop interface and stuff, so check that out. I'll have it linked down below in the description of this video. Moving on to the 3D printing part of it. This is my favorite part because this is what I did. The parts are, of course, 3D printed in PLA filament. They could be printing in other filaments, but hey, I listed them all because a lot of people seem to be digging the colors that we're using for our recent projects. In this one, these are all from Melt Ink. Well, just about all of them are from Melt Ink. They make some really cool colors. Or actually consider stocking their filaments because they have some really nice colors. I also used some wood filament from Color Fab to make that that sort of wood-looking top cover, which we'll take a look at. Let's see, the design source files are available to download, so maybe you're working on a design and you want to use the AMG 8833 thermal camera sensor, or maybe you want to use the Feather Huzzah ESP32, or maybe you want to use the TFT Feather Wing. To grab this source file, you just download that link and it'll give you this, which is a sort of a preview to see. This is really cool the way Autodesk makes their public shared links, these sort of interactive models that you can play with in your browser. And then you can download it by using the top left link, top right link. Wow, it's early. And you can download it in different file formats, or you can just grab the STLs if you want. If you download it though as the Fusion 360 archive, you can extract the components like the AMG 33 thermal camera sensor or the ESP Feather. And the battery, I have a 500 milliamp battery here, and there's some features here in the display that are definitely necessary if you're doing a project that needs to break these out. There's a micro SD card slot there, there's a built-in on-off switch and a reset button. So really handy to kind of model your components out. In this case, I was able to find out the exact spot where I need to fit the battery, otherwise it would kind of fit over that reset button and bad things would happen. But other than that, it is a fully parametric design. So if you download, you can see a timeline and see all the different things that kind of make to put it together. It's pretty neat. It's also user parameter driven. Real quick, I want to show you guys some updates that I made to it that really didn't make it into the video. Notably, there's these little loops now on this top cover, so it's really easy to pop off these covers and kind of make custom things to it with little mounting pieces. They have a sort of a different way to make the snap fit nubs. They're just a different shape, but they kind of have the same, what do you call it? They're kind of built the same way, just a different shape is all. They're just built with the slot tool. So this just allows you to add little loop and hook to it so you can kind of wear it. And then probably the more important thing is to add a tripod screw. This is a 3/8 to a 1/4 20 tripod screw that we have available in the shop. We like to do a lot of camera type things, and this allows it so that you can mount it to a tripod like this one here. This is like a selfie stick type thing. So it worked out for the shoot because I needed to get it off the table. I was like, wow, I should really design a thing for it. So here it is. I got my selfie stick with my lovely camera, or you could go with the strap here, which I guess I'll wear now. Like that. So there you go. I actually got this for Christmas. Thanks, Pedro. It's a leather strap. It's meant for my iPhone, but now I use it for this. So very cool. That's pretty much the updates that I made to it. And again, if you want to download the source files for it, I recommend you do so. It's really good. Let's talk about the slice settings real quick. I've since kind of changed up my slice settings a little bit. Since we are using 2.85 filaments on our Ultimakers. Your tolerances might vary, so I thought I'd take a little quick snapshot of the slice settings. Really notably is the line width, and that's the width of the actual filament that's coming out of your nozzle. So I have that set to 0.38. I believe its default for Cura is like 0.34, so you might want to play with those values to get the right tolerances. But other than that, the assembly is pretty straightforward. You do need some hardware screws to attach the kind of fake lens hood to the camera body. And I totally recommend using a brim, which is a sort of a little help to make the bed adhesion really nice on your printer. Whether you have a heated bed or not, I definitely recommend using it, at least for the camera body, because it is a very thin frame, and that frame can kind of fall off the printer if it's not if it doesn't adhere properly to the bed. So that's what I recommend. Everything else is pretty straightforward. No support materials required for any of this stuff. Yeah. Moving on to the actual assembly. I always start off my projects with an on-off switch because it's pretty crucial. This one's wired a little bit differently, since there are header pins already soldered to the ESP32. I just went ahead and soldered the wires directly on top of the headers because they came that way. I couldn't get the non-headered version, so they already had headers, so One little tip here is to just apply a small bit of solder to the top of the pin, and that'll just kind of wick it a little bit, loosen it up a little bit to make it easier to heat it up again and attach your wire to it. But that's how it's wired, pretty simple. The ANG8833 thermal camera sensor just needs 4 wired connections, and you probably want to use some pretty lengthy wires. I'm using 30 gauge wires, which is our favorite type of wire. I recommend getting yourself some spools of them if you don't, because the little baggies tend to run out and aren't that great. So I don't know, we got spools of this stuff so you can get different colors. Heat shrink tubing is always the thing that I recommend using. Third helping hands, of course, is always a good thing as well. And it's pretty straightforward to wire those wires into the pins. Now, something a little bit weird, instead of wiring this directly to the header pins on the feather, I opted into attaching the wires to a strip of header pins. And this is because the TFT display actually has a spare female headers on the female headers. It kind of comes in 2 pairs. So you can just kind of plug these in to the side instead of like having to solder them to like a pad or something like that. So it's kind of easy. And at first I actually soldered them to these little header pins individually, which is sort of a better alternative to that would be to just solder it straight to a strip and then separate the strip. So that was my little tip there. So once you have the sensor wired up, you can attach the ESP to the back of the TFT header. One note here is that the female header pins on the Huzzah ESP32, actually on the display, they are the short type. They're like half of the width of your standard header. So you definitely will have to trim those male header pins from the ESP32 down to about half their size so that the little plastic bits are flush when they are connected with each other. Otherwise, the USB cutout on the bottom of the 3D printed part probably won't line up, so they need to be flush. Yeah, and this is what the final circuit looks like outside of the 3D printed case. Yeah, and a little bit of warning, don't cut them too short. So just kind of ease your way into the trimming. Onto the assembly, the first thing you want to attach is the thermal camera sensor. And this one is attached with machine screws to this little kind of faux cover that goes in front of the lens hood. And the only thing here is you have to make sure that the actual lens is lined up with the center hole in the cover. You plug in the battery. For the battery, I'm just using a 500 milliamp battery, which is a sort of a nice mix of not too small, not too big. The slide switch is installed to the cover. It kind of snap fits and is held in place with the little walls and stuff that keep it in place. It's all in the little cover design. And then the display itself gets mounted to the cover. Just got to make sure that the orientation is right. So, you know, flip it over and look at the cutout of the display and make sure that it's still lined up properly. And then you can secure it with the machine screws. We're pretty much using the same machine screws for all of the things here. These are the M2.5 by 5 millimeters flathead screws. And then mounting the battery, love using mounting tab for holding these batteries in place because it just kind of simplifies the assembly a little bit. Orienting the display with the actual sensor just takes a little bit of fiddling with. Even after making notes and taking photos, I still ended up installing it backwards or upside down. So just play with it until you get the right side up. And then you can install, I really like how this works. The lens cover, it just fits into the lens hood without any glue or any screws. It just has a tight fit to it, and there's like a little end stopper on the edge of the lens frame that keeps it from coming out, which is pretty nice. And it's easy to pop out too, which is a little bit of force. So that's how that works. Onto the final assembly, you pretty much have these two pieces. You have main circuit is on the cover, and then the sensor is attached to the lens frame with the body. You join those two together, there's these little special nubs on the side that will slot into the little grooves on the edges of the cover. I haven't really done something like this, but it worked out pretty well. because the things that hold the two pieces together, the camera body and the cover, they're being held together with these top and bottom covers that have those little snap fit nubs on the sides. So those are pretty straightforward and easy, and it's very symmetrical, so you can actually use the top with the bottom and vice versa. So that's pretty neat. So you can use different, you can flip it around if you want. It's all symmetrical. And then the stickers, because they're just really nice stickers. So that's pretty much the whole guide in a nutshell. Obviously there's some more details and stuff like that if you read through it, but I thought I'd just kind of take out some highlights and stuff about it. So if anyone has any questions about it, I'll gladly take some questions here.
There was just some questions on how you did the animation explosions, linked to layer by layer on that. You did that one a couple months ago.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so
How about a demo of it?
I have a demo of it? I kind of have it. We can kind of look at them.
Oh, I was going to show it under the overhead.
Which one? The thing I'm wearing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's do a demo.
So what I really like about this is just how fast it turns on. It's almost immediate.
Yeah. Is it hot coffee? Oh yeah, she's
I
hot.
got some hot coffee over here.
Yeah.
Well, it's getting warm.
So when you look at the resolution, like how fine is it? It's kind of gets better as you get closer. As you can see, like the definition of my fingers. Mm-hmm. And I kind of had fun trying to make like little animal, like little bunnies and stuff like that.
Do you know what the frame per second is on this?
I do not. Unfortunately, no, I don't.
Do you know if there's any spare processing left over after?
I do not. I don't know much about it, other than this is it. And Lamar recently did a fix for the ESP32, so that it works now.
So before this, you actually tried a different approach.
Yeah, I was using a Teensy,
and it was not as fast. The resolution was pretty blocky, right? There was no anti-aliasing on it.
Yeah. No, I think it was fast enough. It's just like you couldn't turn it on and off because the enable pin wasn't broken out for the Teensy. It's just sort of it's a Teensy adapter, so not really takes a full advantage of all the pins. So yeah. So that's that. We have a little video of us testing it outside.
So of course we had to do the cliche, oh, what is the heat on a Tesla?
A Tesla? Yeah, compared to a regular automobile. Yeah, so this was kind of fun just to kind of see.
Where is the heat coming out of?
Yeah, our tree is actually hotter than the Tesla. And we had just got back from shipping from UPS.
Granted, it's not a long drive, but still you can see that all the heat is all just around the tires.
Yeah.
And for some reason, the back, maybe where one of the battery packs is or something like that. But
the brakes, obviously, are nice and hot. The cold is ice. The trunk is ice cold. Yeah. So that was kind of fun. So obviously you can take this into your garage and take a look at, things that are hidden behind the wall.
To me, yeah, the tree being hot. It's probably picking up all the heat from the being out in the sun right there. Other things that we were looking around the house is what bricks are hotter. What is phantom power.
Yeah, you can see it on the wall over here when we were using it. Our router is behind that wall, and we're like, wow, the router's really hot.
I was able to see through that.
Yeah.
So super cool for around the house.
Right. I mean, it's meant for professionals to find sort of heating issues, leaking stuff as well. So for thermal home inspection, it's really good.
Yeah.
And I guess job sites and stuff as well.
Also, interesting things you could do with this instead of having like a thermal couple attached to something that you want to sense heat. Maybe you could save wiring all that up and just have a thermal camera looking at something. So if your printer gets hot or once it cools down, you can trigger something to happen.
Right.
So there's all sorts of really cool things you could do. Instead of wiring a heat sensor, just have a camera pointing at it.
That's right. I was going to share a project. I think I have it linked here. Oh no, yeah, there it is. I want to shout out, not the original, just Russell. What's Russell's last name? Let's take a look at Russell's project here. This is really cool. I just want to share this, highlight this project that I saw earlier this week. This is actually another version of the thermal camera by Russell Gorkett, and he put together a guide on Hackster.io where he shares some upgrades to the demo code that I'm using. He's using a Raspberry Pi. He added the ability to safely power the Pi down. He wrote a script so that it can automatically boot up. He added a battery to make it portable. He's using some of the Pi TFT GPIO buttons. He added a sensitivity control because right now it's sort of fixed temperature ranges. So the thresholds, between a certain number, it's mainly for like kind of room temperature. So what good example is I took it outside when it was like 30 degrees and like the sensor stopped working. I was like, what's going on? It's because in the code the threshold was set to something else. But he has it so you can change it with pin temp geometer live. That's so you can change it. So that's a really cool addition. And he is working on some future things, switching it over to a Pi Zero, for example, 3D printing his own case, and getting Pi game touchscreen working. So actually using it as a touchscreen. And of course, the real, I think, hero feature would be to add an actual shutter button where you can take a screenshot of what you see. In this case, since I'm using this display, I actually have a micro SD card in there, so it'd be really cool to pop out the card and like save these kind of images out. So it's pretty cool. Shout out to Russell for sharing this project on Hackster.io, and I will, of course, link this down below. That's really cool. Kind of a highlight to Community Make project. And if you want to pick up the sensor, you get 10% off using Heat Vision as a coupon code. Am I hotter than the Tesla? Maybe.
Remember to use coupon code HeatVision before 11:59 p.m. tonight.
Yeah, Chris is asking if it can detect a human. I said that in the video. I think it was up to 7 meters is the distance. Yeah, so check the datasheet if you want more information on exactly the temperature ranges and that sort of thing.
All right, cool. And let's go ahead and jump into this week's What Are You Prototyping?
Yeah, let's do that. I got a slideshow. This week we're prototyping something tasty, something different.
Some cookies. So a couple of weeks ago there was a really cool tweet that Lamar pointed us to on these delicious looking circuit cookies.
Yeah, these are delicious looking circuit cookies, and now I want some cookies. This is from Twitter. Random Andium. Yeah, who's on Twitter, and he posted this and just like a bunch of likes and retweets, and Lamar saw it and he was like,
so this is always the thing that
brings
us into a rabbit hole in terms of, okay, how did they actually make this?
Yeah.
We found out that there was a rotary tool on laser cutter.
There's a special custom rig. It's basically like a rock tumbler skeleton, but it's like it has a microcontroller and knows exactly how to turn the rolling pan. So the thing is, this is a rig that you put on the laser cutter, and then it's several hundreds of dollars, and there are services now that make custom rolling pans that laser cut them. But we have 3D printers, so why not 3D print a rolling
pan? Oh, maybe try this in NinjaFlex and roll it around. And we said, well, why not just make a sleeve that you can add to your existing rolling pan? So the design challenge on this, which is why we took this on, because of the interest in, okay, how do we wrap a texture around a cylinder without having any distortion coming up on the pattern? So if you, am I still on the overhead?
Yes, you are.
Take a look at the traditional way of attaching this as a feature with a pattern around it. You are going to get this distortion that happens right at the edge of where all of the cylinders are, where it starts curving around over the texture. You can see it quite prominently here. All of the circles are completely skewed. So the way that we were trying to originally do this was with non-linear deformers inside of Maya, but because it's not a real solid, it's just polygons. When you print this out, it's going to be pretty low resolution in terms of having all of the subdivisions show up in the print. And when I tried this in Fusion 360, the deformation that occurs is something that we didn't like. And then we saw a really cool tutorial by Vladimir at Desktop Makes using the brand new features inside of Fusion 360 in the sheet metal environment. So what you're essentially doing is creating this as a flange and then unwrapping the sheet metal object. Yeah, you can go to it.
All right, let's take a look at the CAD of this because it's very difficult to explain
Pretty difficult
without visuals. So inside of Fusion 360, you have this new workspace called Sheet Metal, right? And this is where you can build designs with new tools that are specifically designed for making sheet metal designs. Well, you can kind of hack it or reuse it for something that it's not really meant to, like this. So if we step back through our timeline and go to the very beginning, this is just driven with a single sketch. The sketch is basically the profile of the rolling pan. There's a little bit of a tricky thing that you have to do. You have to kind of split.
We'll go over that next week.
Oh, okay.
So you just go
Let's
advance,
just go and extrude it
out.
out. This is extruded out as a flange.
And then here is what the trick, which we'll talk about next week, or you can just go check out Vladimir's
you unwrap it.
well thought out tutorial on this. Or unwrapping this, adding our SVGs for our patterns, punching these out, and then refolding into the cylindrical shape without any distortion on that. Of course, you can move around all of your sketches so that it has a seamless, repeatable pattern. And this is what we come up with. Non-distorted circles, beautiful, seamless pattern on a cylindrical geometry.
Pretty cool, huh?
Yes. And everything is all editable. It's pretty easy to drop in any other type of SVG or move any of the paths around to update.
Right.
These.
If you're looking for, you know, a way to do seamless, you gotta tweak it a little bit, obviously. But once you have this technique down, it's pretty straightforward to come in and modify, as Ben was saying. And that's pretty much how I put it together. There's a little bit of other trickery things you have to do to make it a solid body, but other than that, you're ready to rock with this rolling pan.
Yeah.
So that's what we've been working on.
And if you check out the Instagram, you can see some of the progress. We already finished shooting assembly on that. The only thing that we have to reshoot is using non-rising dough, since that will
store-bought dough is a big no-no.
Yeah, so we're trying to make
build
our own
like artisans cookies. One question, of course, Pedro, everybody wants to know: is PLA food safe?
It should be, yeah. I don't recommend using it more than a couple times because you are going to get food particles. If you can see, there are still
There's some dough there. There's some
flour and dough all stuck in here. So
there is some food grade type of.
Well, even if it is, that's not what.
It isn't. That's what the next thing is.
It's the nozzle, and also all of the tiny grooves that food can get into. And if it's not watertight,
bacteria can form in there.
It can get into the little crevices, and you can get bacteria. So that is what the killer for that is.
Yep, you could wash it underwater.
Of course,
don't want to do hot water, as it would melt.
I did research some PLAs that they're dishwasher safe, but again, it all falls down to, is it watertight? Can bacteria or bits of food get in between, you know, in between here, where all the infill is, and start, you know, growing.
So this would be very, very special, sort of one-off, a very special event or something like that. In this case, we're making it as a project to show that you can do it.
Yep.
If you were prototyping this, you probably want to get it machined with a laser cutter or something.
So the other thing that I was thinking of is doing a buck of this and
making a food-safe silicone mold is probably even better.
Yeah, because that's going to last a lot more.
Just more steps to it. So it's up to you how safe you want to be.
Again, our job in this project was, how do we get non-distorted patterns onto
at the expense of killing people?
No. Yeah, it's always the design challenge is what these projects are always based around.
So we'll have to give a little bit of a warning there. Like, yeah, this isn't food safe.
Yeah, I mean, I saw a couple of food safe ones, but it's like,
To use PLA as a disposable prototype. Yeah,
exactly.
It's safe. It's biodegradable.
So we'll be taking a look at this next week. Other stuff we'll be eating cookies. Yeah, we'll have. I actually have some of the batches. I'm gonna go grab it just to show the heat. I just wanted that cookie. Other thing that I've been prototyping is just simple holders for our GoPro. We have quite a bit of adapters, but I could not find one that was a 2-prong to a 3-prong for being able to quickly attach our tripods to them. So we have the 3/8 to 1/4 standard screw mount that we have in the shop, as well as this 1/4 to 1/4, which will allow this to hook onto here. this will go onto the GoPro 3 knuckle adapter, and then you can just add a regular quarter 20 to attach this to, you know, tripod or whatever. So super simple design. We originally designed this for some of the drone mounts a couple of years ago for one of those past projects, and I had noticed that we did not make a 2-prong to quarter 20 adapter. We do have like a 2 to 3 prong and one of the slot adapter ones. So I'll repost this because this was, I think when 123D was still out. So we're still in the process of updating a lot of the older projects to Fusion.
Cool.
So if you are in a need.
I love the concept of a GoPro customizer on Thingiverse from Kirby. He's going to link it if you want a sort of an easy solution. But it's really nice when you can design your own custom one-off thing. Because, like, for example, I made one too about this one. I'm not going to talk about it, or not show it. But this is very one-off. Sharing it on Thingiverse wouldn't make sense because no one's going to have this very custom threaded piece. So being able to kind of whip your own up in like 5 minutes or whatever is really, really nice. And maybe we'll do a tutorial on that. Kind of just showcase like how you can make it a sketch-driven design. Okay. There it is. It's on Thingiverse. If you'd like to check it out.
I'm trying to.
You can change the ends and the links. It's linked in the
Yeah, YouTube is butchering the link.
What looks like a legit
and
link
their
to me.
search
You didn't see. You didn't like the link that Kirby sent?
That's what I'm clicking on. I get a 404.
Okay.
Well, that's weird.
Here's where it is. Yeah, this is pretty neat. A lot of different things here. Oh, for some
Although I don't
things,
see
that's pretty
a
well.
2-prong to a quarter 20 adapter.
Like this one?
That's not what we have in the shop. Again, you can easily
Sorry,
grab
Kirby.
all the
Pedro does
sketches.
not
And
approve.
of course, they're going to promote our the files that we made that will have a much higher resolution than this.
But they're not on Thingiverse yet.
No, they are. They are. It's the Fusion 360 file that was updated, so those are still linked in the I can't pronounce the name, that drone project. Sigma.
Well, anyway, there's definitely different options out there. It's just another one of those great things you can do with a 3D printer is to make these custom one-off mounting bits for your rig.
Yeah.
Cool?
Cool. Super easy to do, and of course modifiable in terms of any of the tolerance differences for your printer and settings. So definitely check it out if you need.
They aren't in stock. Sorry.
Oh yeah, you're right.
They're not in stock.
The 3/8 to quarter 20 adapter.
Yeah, I know.
Click on that notify button.
Okay, cool. Let's move on. We're going to do some shop talk now. Talk about some things in the shop. I think the first thing we're going to talk about is a little bit of sort of marketing, maker marketing type stuff. We're talking about Instagram. Recently there was a little bit of, yesterday, a lot of YouTube content creators got an email saying that they no longer are going to be able to use their monetization tools. So people are a little bit hurt about it, and it's kind of really bad move for YouTube from a young content creator standpoint. So it's a little bit tough to kind of make it in the YouTube world anyway. So I wanted to kind of highlight other things out there like Instagram. So Instagram, I would call myself an avid user of Instagram, and I think it's a great tool that businesses could really use, not only just businesses, but makers themselves to kind of promote and log their projects or find inspiration and stuff like that. So that's really neat. So one of the cool things that Adafruit's doing is we're starting to use stories more. So stories are sort of a new addition to Instagram. And you can see that the stories all show up here. It's a mix of live content and just sort of content that sort of expires in time. So it's up there for maybe a day or two, and then it kind of gets deleted. But story highlights is this new addition where you can kind of archive and categorize your stories. So a good example would be to go to the Adafruit page. There's these little bubbles now below the bio, and a lot of makers and people I follow tend to have new videos and like check the bio, link is in the bio. Check my bio, link is in the bio. With story highlights, you can now let people know exactly what things you want to share that, that are outside of your common posts. So what we have here is we have two little examples, two little highlights here. This first one is about the new products. So you might have missed this, and this story highlight is a good way to show what you may have missed. So this is just showing like the top products of 2017, I believe, right? And then, as you can see, you can kind of scroll through them. And then the next one shows sort of the top, oh, these are the top products. The last one was like the top, or the new products that are out. So that's a really neat way. I also like Benjamin Ueda, who runs Homemade Modern. He's using it to showcase like, hey, I have a trip to Africa that I'm doing, or his latest project. He's working on a bench, so you can check that out. It tells you a little bit of details about it. And then his last one, I believe, is like I think it's like a sort of a sponsored type project, but just kind of showcasing it as a live demo. So it's pretty neat. There's a lot of different ways. I think it's a thing that's kind of being underutilized. Another great example is Stephanie. I really like Stephanie's posts and her projects, her YouTube channel as well, and she's using it to really great effect. So has here her interview that she recently did. She has her CES wrap up, Google Home stuff, some notes, some NASA things, and some things that are kind of like behind the scenes. So that's a lot of them. She's like using it really good. So, and I just started using it myself. So here I have like, oh yeah, we have 3D Hangouts. It's live right now. So I have some behind the scenes there. A great way to kind of showcase the project of this week. I don't really promote it that much, so I'm starting to get into that, and this is just a good way to kind of showcase some of the heroes and have a little bit of fun. There's my face in there. It's kind of fun, and kind of showcase some of the lovely photos that we take during the build, and some behind the scenes of baking some cookies here, as you can see, and even showcasing the layer by layer. So instead of showing a kind of a thumbnail of just like the screenshot, this is a live video of me actually using the case, and then this is like a little time-lapse reminder, like, hey, we have Timelaspse Tuesday. I mean, we have 3 videos every week, and promoting them is a bit of a work, right? This is a really quick and easy way to kind of do that and let your people know that that it's something that's out there. So hopefully that's useful for folks that are looking to showcase some of their work. If you're a product, if you're a manufacturer, I think it's a good tool as well. I'd love to see more people use it.
I think the simplified version of this is back in the day we'd have to build a website to categorize all of our work. Now we can just use a simple Instagram highlight feature that categorizes all of your videos and pictures.
Andrew's a great example too of using kind of exclusively making content for Instagram, so showing different types of reviews, behind the scenes stuff, really engaging with your audience and the community. So check that out. There's a lot of great examples of using the tool, and what better time, because YouTube is is getting a little bit more difficult to kind of get seen and noticed on YouTube. So I thought that would be an interesting shop talk, because it is a tool that we are using both personally and for business stuff.
Jumping into this week's Timelaspse Tuesday, we got this lovely little EG2-D2 model from Miguel on Colts 3D. Very nice little articulating print.
Yeah, Colts 3D is a repository site that is really kind of designer friendly. So if you're looking for a way to make a little bit of money from your designs, you totally can with something like Colts 3D. So this is 61 cents to download the STL file, which is great. It supports the maker, and this is a really neat print and place design, no support materials, and it has these little hinges.
I don't know what the deal is with everybody posting egg 3D printed holders. So is it because of
they're probably contests or something?
Is it For Easter? No, that's like in April, right?
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, it holds a nicely sized egg, and it's a nice little display piece for whatever Star Wars theme you might be having going on. So excellent little design here. As you said, the settings are pretty typical. Prints in about 2 hours. No supports, and depending on your printer's calibration, it should print out pretty good without any problems.
Yeah, we printed this on the Ultimaker 2 Plus Extended.
I'm using the green filament here from Melt Ink
3D. Yep, 2 hours. I'm surprised it only took 2 hours. I think the print speed was maybe 70 millimeters a second. No, actually holds an egg. It works. Did it tip over at any point? No.
No.
A lot of good little detail. I like the detail in it. It looks really neat. Not sure what it was designed in, but it was a lot of fun printing and kind of making this video.
I'm more proud of my abilities to properly boil this egg.
Yeah, we had to learn how to boil an egg properly. We're like, do you boil the water first and then throw it in there? No. Yeah. Good job, Pedro. You did this. So if you want to pick up an egg, I don't know. Good one, guys. Yeah, so that was again on Cults 3D. Shout out to Cults 3D. We'll probably be doing some more content with Cults 3D since they're letting us.
Kirby says another achievement unlocked is peeling the shell without destroying it. No, I destroyed one of them.
Oh, you did, yeah. But you ate it, so that was good. Fun.
And then wrapping up this week's shop talk, big shout out to Kirby. We sent out 2 of our Sigma printers for some forever.
Yeah,
for it to be a forever home.
Kirby is a YouTube content creator. He posts on Instagram.
He's been a community maker
for a little bit. He is a learning guide author as well. And we actually...
Most importantly, he holds a band hammer inside of YouTube, so
he's a moderator.
Watch your comments there.
Kirby's watching. He will suck up your powers and turn...
Yeah, so we were supposed to get some fixes done to the Sigmas, but because we did have to ship them back to Spain and there were some, issues in getting the shipping labels, and in terms of time, we have like 0 time to fix printers. We're paid to
What are you talking
produce
about? You tried fixing this printer.
I know, that was too long. I tried for like a whole year to try to get these up and running, and
this isn't to say that the printer is bad or anything. It's just that this is just what happens.
This is definitely some easy fixes that somebody like Kirby could quickly replace a rod for, or figure out firmware for this driver was wrong or something simple that we just couldn't figure out. And, we gotta finish a project. I don't have time to fix the printer. I need to make the printer work for me. So we're cleaning up. 2018. We've accumulated so many freaking printers. We even got more coming in.
This printer.
No, it's not.
And then the Ultimaker at the end. What are you saying here, Pedro? It's like
I just didn't cut that part out of the video.
Okay. What the point is that we have switched to Ultimakers, and we love them.
So,
what do you want to say?
No, so he's going to do some mods to it, and can't wait to see what fixes comes
follow
up with.
Kirby on Instagram to see the final conclusion. Will these printers work or not?
I think they will.
I'm sure they will. They do work. It's just the quality is like, why is it? Anyway, we may have went the wrong direction.
He's saying he has to make 2 car trips to fix the boxes.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Take the black box first. That'll be the R17, the newest version of the Sigma.
That is not a wooden Ultimaker in the garage. That is a wooden MakerBot Replicator 1. Yeah. With the serial like 700 or something, right? Or was it 7,000? What? The serial number on the MakerBot? It's kind of young.
Yeah, it's pretty young.
Yeah, early adopters here.
Yeah, so we'll be checking in on him on any cool updates. I know there's like a ton of things you can do with like the bod tech. Extruders, there's been a lot of work in like putting like enclosures on it.
It's pretty solid.
They are definitely, so we sent him a Lulzbot before, and Sigma is pretty close in terms of the, like the ideology like Tazbot is. So they put all of their circuitry up, they put all of their designs, their laser cut, their sheet metal.
GitHub repos, like
GitHub repo, yeah. So it is right up his alley in terms of being open and available to edit any designs or files that might want to mod. So
Yeah.
definitely cool from that.
Cool. Can we go to layer by layer real quick?
And do we have a layer by layer?
You skipped it.
Oh, let's go ahead and
I
jump
mean,
into
I'm
this
all over
week's
the
layer
place
by
too.
layer.
Yeah, thank you, Stuart, for the comment and reminding me that there's an update I wanted to share with you guys about layer by layer. So this is going to make sense for folks who saw the layer by layer. If you didn't, please check it out. But hopefully this is helpful for some people. It certainly was helpful for me, and I'm really psyched to share it right now. So let's take a look at really what I'm working on here is a sketch. And I got quite a few comments from people saying that, you know what, there's an easier way to do what you're trying to do here. So I have this rectangle here, and I can move it around the sketch. But what I want to do is I want this rectangle to be lined up with this edge. This is an enclosure box. And what I want to do is I want to make the snap fit nub, right? So the easiest way to get this edge lined up with that, and also have a midpoint section so that it's always in the center. So if I ever change the width of the enclosure or the width of the nub, this will remain in the center of this guy. So all you have to do is hold down Shift and click the two edges that you want to join. And then there's one button over here in the constraints called midpoint. If I click on that, holy jeez, it just saved me 2 extra steps. That is awesome. So now it's fully defined. I can't really move it. And if I update the width of this guy, you'll notice that it stays in the middle. And that's what the midpoint constraint does. But it's also locking it so that this will always stay at the top is what I want. I don't want this guy to be somewhere down here. It always needs to be at the top because that's the way sort of the thing is designed. Hopefully it doesn't break. There we go. And then you can see that there's the nub right there. So hopefully that is helpful, and thank you so much for like the 10 or so people who told me about this tip, and I was like, oh man, that's great. So I'm pretty
sure you showed me that before as well.
I did never show you that. No, I've shown you how to use a construction line to make a midpoint, but you don't have to make the construction line anymore. You can just select the 2 things and hit the button, and you're done. It's awesome.
Because they're always updating the way that the tools
been there
functions.
since day one. It's been there since day one. I just didn't know.
Sometimes I try something that I know worked before and it doesn't work anymore. It's like, ah, come on.
Lies, I tell you.
Construction lines. Back to construction lines I go.
Well, Liz liked it. Thanks, Liz. All right, well, that was layer by layer. I would love to do one about the camera body because it's a different design approach. And I think it could be useful for the Raspberry Pi type projects as well.
Yeah. Very, very useful.
Cool. All right. Back to Shop Talk or Community Makes?
I think that's it. Let's go into this week's Community Makes.
Awesome. I would like to share some stuff. Obviously, we have the EG2-D2 that we just shared about. This just came in. I thought I'd share it real quick. Look at that paint job on those unicorn horns. Isn't that lovely?
These airbrushed?
I think so. I should ask her. Or him.
Oh.
His wife painted them. I said, awesome, those are great. He's like, oh, my wife painted them.
Very cool.
Yeah, they look great. Who needs a dual extruder when you have paint skills like this?
Yeah, I like the dual color one over there, the purple.
This is the best unicorns I've seen.
Oh, the teal and
the
silver one looks cool too.
I wonder what the story is behind. Maybe it's like for some sort of wedding, unicorn wedding. That's great. Did you guys know we have unicorn horns? We have a wide assortment of unicorn horns. Best ones. No one makes unicorn horns like the Ruiz brothers. This was a cool project we did a couple years ago in collaboration with Becky Stern, who sewed a unicorn on this thing and had put some fluff in there and shows you how to do it. You could also dual extrude it, but who's got a dual extruder? Check out Dana. Look at Dana. That'd be cool with the black one. Anyway, great make. Unicorn horns.
Pretty awesome. Let's go ahead and jump into the Discord. Some really cool show and tell shares in this channel.
Trying to get rid of iOS updates. So let me live my life. I think Discord disappeared on me. Yep.
Here we put a unicorn horn in the KitchenAid counter mixer.
What?
You know how like people put googly eyes on things?
You put a unicorn horn on equipment at work? Is that what happened?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay, so we're in the Discord channel. The link is discord.gg/Adafruit. That's the invite link. And we're going to start off with scrolling up a little bit so I can find where I left off. Because it's a little bit tough for me. I'm almost there. Come on, a lot of great projects. So I think we're starting off with Yanni, who is using augmented reality to kind of see the size and determine the physical dimensions of an object before 3D printing it. I remember doing that a while ago with an app like for your iPhone. It's called like Augmented. I think it was just called Augment.
Yeah,
that's what it was called.
Yeah,
it's probably still out there. Not sure what Yanni's using, but a great sort of inspiration to show you that you can use this tech.
Yeah, so it would print out the little ID tag like on a piece of paper so it could recognize the QR code and then display whatever model you wanted to print on there.
And it would track it too, so you can look around it and see if it makes sense.
I wish to try it again. It should be a lot more better with the AR kit stuff.
Yeah, so great job, Yanni. And then we have one from Joss Swope, who made this Enforce sort of wearable sign with a bunch of awesome NeoPixels. Some more pictures from Yanni. Yep. There's this cool project modification to a book bag running off an ESP. This is from Cascade. It's running the ICU animation from the WS2812FX library. Looks really cool. I like that. Right, it gives it almost like they're looking at you. Eyes. Sigapos is working on a Pine Derby car. This looks really cool. Check this out.
A circuit playground attached.
88 miles an hour. That's really cool. Waiting for a push button. Derby.car. Very, very cool. We have some
Assassin's Creed props
in
progress.
This is cool. Very, very neat. I think Kester was asking how to print it. These are always fun challenges from a design standpoint. How do you cut this up and split it for 3D printing?
You were saying split it down the middle. I was saying split the bottom off and then print it upright.
Yeah,
but
you have the thin blade and stuff. Yeah, so
lots of different ways.
There's lots of different ways to do it, and it really depends on sort of the internal workings of it. It's a full solid body. Then you could probably just cut it in the middle, like we're saying. A lot of different opportunities to kind of test and play with it. Here is the wearable sign. Enforcer at PAX South this year. Very, very cool. Controllable from Bluetooth. It's using the Feather ESP, the Feather 32U4 Bluefruit LE. Very cool.
Got 5 minutes, so speed round of these.
Modifications to the Raspberry Pi case from Mike Dole. Brian, I want to shout out Brian. Brian is working on making a sort of documentation video of his latest Zelda test project. So that was really cool to watch. Really great work, Brian. And also Brian is a featured YouTube guest on Dave Jones's YouTube channel. Where is he? There he is. He got picked. So he made a guest video for the EEV blog channel. And he got picked. That's awesome. This is a great way.
Nice explanation of the 8266 libraries. Very cool. Check out the video. Nice.
Because Brian actually wrote the YouTube API one for the ESP32. That's awesome.
Very cool. Next up, we got some stuff from Adam Combs. Looks like
some more electron microscope stuff.
Microscope back up. Don't forget to check out Show and Tell every week to see all of the updated progress on that. And
Andrew is sharing his build of the, I think that's the Minty Pi, so you can check that out as well.
Very cool.
Looks like number 2 is making a
trellis
button pad, probably.
Yeah, cool.
Very cool. So check all those out on Discord. Again, discord.gg/Adafruit. A lot of different channels in there as well. You can get project helps, and that's where we do the live broadcast chat as well.
Yanni is saying that the app he's using doesn't require a QR code at all. Oh, please link to the app for that.
Sweet. Yeah, we can chat in Discord too, so we don't lose that link.
Very cool.
Well, that's pretty much the show, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We're going to run through some other things real quick. Don't forget, this isn't the end. We have a show later tonight. We have Show and Tell. This is a great spot to win some free things. You can join the Show and Tell, and you're guaranteed a Show and Tell sticker.
Yep,
really nice vinyl sticker just for showing up. And that is, of course, at tonight, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time.
Look out for all of the links to join the Hangout. We'll be posting it in the Discord as well as YouTube chat.
That's correct. Yep.
Right after that, we'll have Ask an Engineer, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Full hour of Lamar Phil, all the cool behind the scenes, product announcements, time travel news, everything going on in the maker world, so don't miss that.
We'll have a
And
coupon
then
code as well.
Tomorrow, we'll have John Park's workshop.
Yep.
It's gonna be live.
Park tomorrow.
Cool projects always going on in his workshop.
Yeah, this one's at 4 p.m. Eastern time?
Eastern time, yeah.
Or is it 3 p.m. Eastern time?
It might switch around.
3 or 4.
Just look out for the tweets,
Yeah, look
or
out for
subscribe.
tweets.
Click on that
Usually
bell
there's a blog
icon.
post. Cool. Well, thank you guys so much. Don't forget, you're supporting these lovely people and many other people that are in other states. But those are all the awesome people that make this thing run that we call
Yes,
Adafruit.
there are so many clogs, so many gears.
Yeah.
A
So
lot
many
of
mouths to
people.
feed. So that's awesome. So every purchase you go goes to everybody's here. So
And
again,
don't forget coupon code Heat
Yeah,
Vision
that
expires
was
at 11:59 p.m. tonight.
we thank you for your orders. That's
And
pretty
I
much it.
think that's it for the show.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, we'll be here next week, 11 a.m. Do the show on a Wednesday, not Thursday. Should I say that?
Make an awesome day.
Yeah. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Here, check out the new song.